Well, we're almost out of time, and I want to get these questions in. So Christopher asked, what's the best way for a small band to budget so they can consistently release music while covering mixing, mastering, and marketing costs? So that sounds like an independent artist more there. But yeah, anybody want to tackle kind of how to budget covering some of those costs?
Nico.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is obviously just keep working your ass off. I think the biggest thing is play shows, sell merch, make that stuff quality. At the end of the day, that's where bands make their most money. You're not going to ever see a huge paycheck from streaming, and you might be able to monetize some stuff on social media and whatnot. But get out there, grind, play shows, and print some good merch, man. I think that's going to be the best way to budget outside of your personal work life and everything that you save on the side too.
And
I think, oh, go ahead. You go. I was just going to say, we kind of talked about it earlier. I think like because I did this when I was like in a local band. We got a business loan, and it's not that crazy to get an LLC for the band. Like just treat it like we were saying, like a business, and get a bunch of serious people involved. And I mean, you're talking to three dudes who are making a living in this crazy. I mean, we shouldn't be making a living in the craziest job ever in making music. So we figured it out. I mean, there's ways to do it. I have face tat. I look like I just got out of prison, and I'm making a living out of this crazy, so it's like, it's possible for anybody. When I came out here, I had nothing. I was Uber driving. I was building IKEA furniture. I was like, just whatever it took to, make a living out here. So if you want it bad enough, I think, not to sound like I'm not one of those guys who walks over a homeless guy and he's like, get a job, buddy. Like, I know it's like, there's levels, and some people it's just not possible. But generally speaking, if you want it bad enough, I think you can do it.
And just having a DIY approach, like if you really want to do this stuff on a budget, roll up your sleeves and figure out how much you can do yourself and join URM, or there's lots of resources to learn production and mixing yourself and be able to start some of this yourself before you're able to pay other people. And Federico asked, what would you recommend to a metalcore hardcore band that started this year and is getting some traction locally and also outside of the country, Italy? Go independent or pitch to a label. If label, small local label or medium, bigger label.
Depends on the goal of the project, I think. Like how big do you want to go? Like who are you trying to be? I think they got to answer that question first, because you got to begin with the end in mind. Like if you're going to go to a label, for example, the label is going to put money behind you. So, in order to be presentable to a label, like what things would a label want to see, right? You got to check those boxes and stuff like that. So I think first identify what you want to be, what level you want to play at, and how big you want to go. Nico, where you gonna?
Yeah, well said. And the only thing I guess I would add to that is if you're building traction in your local scene and surrounding areas, you're doing all the right things, because that's where it starts. You can't expect, I mean, I guess it's a little bit different genres and whatnot, but if you're in a metal hardcore band and you're playing shows and that's the main thing you want to be on tour for the majority of your career, you have to start in your local scene. You can't expect somebody across the world to want to listen to your music and come see you live if you can't get the kids in your hometown to come play or to come see you play live. So you're on the right track, and I guess keep doing what you're doing. But yeah, internalize and figure out what the goal of the projects are. I think that's great.
Yeah. He just said, we're definitely trying to go big. We're working our asses off on every aspect from production to our image to ads.
All right. Then I would say get with a real producer, meaning somebody who's somebody. Like, even if you write most of your stuff, simply like Eric was talking about, just collaborating and getting in the room, getting some names on your stuff. To me, that's like a good qualifier. Again, think about it reverse. If you're a record label or, a business and you're going to invest in somebody, what things do you want to see? So going in and be like, hey, Nico, check out my band. We just worked with X person and Y person, and we did this, and here's our shows and our numbers. That gets taken, and this is just my opinion, I think a little bit more seriously than like, check out my band, bro, in the DM on Instagram. It's a lot easier to be like, yeah, man, I just hired Eric to do the record, and then we had, this dude master it and this and that. It's like that gets taken very seriously, because somebody's serious when they spend money. And they're not playing around and screwing around.
Yeah, nailed it. And those are brownie points, especially if I know the person who you worked with. I've worked with them in the past, or if I'm just familiar with their credits. So yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, I think, believe in yourself and don't wait for permission from somebody else. And that that makes other people want to work with you when they see like you're going to go do this either way. But if you're just waiting for somebody else's permission, you might be waiting a long time. So start and put yourself out there.
Don't waste your opportunity.
I 2 local bands. I got signed to majors that I developed many years ago, from my home city of Milwaukee, where nothing comes out of. And the way that I did it is we made 2 bands that were too big to ignore, where people just came after them, where it just showed up on the radar. So again, great songs, great branding, great image, great everything. You found the right type of sound at the right time with the right front person, with the right, there's a lot of things that have to go right, but the production, everything was there in the package. And then when it came out, it got people's attention right away, because most bands are not that on that level, where like they're just like they're not ready to, they don't come out looking like a national touring band, but they're like a local band playing their first show. So when you come out like that, and all of a sudden 2 months later you can put 400 tickets in your local market that you can sell, and you're starting to pop, and all of a sudden you blow up on MySpace or SoundCloud or whatever, you better believe A&Rs are going to be like, hey, I just saw you in Billboard as one of the hottest, and this is a true story, like one of my bands, I had a band, Vinyl Theater, they're like, you're the #1 unsigned band. Like, Steve Robertson gets on a plane from Fueled by Ramen, Atlantic Records, and he comes to meet you in your, in your house and talk to you and see what you guys got going on, because you just came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden now, how did you do it? Like, we want to get in on this. Like, this is hot, so figure out how to do that. And, these guys will be lining up to make you offers and fighting each other in the streets.
Well, let's wrap there. Thank you all, Joel, Eric, Nico. Appreciate you guys taking some time, and hope everybody enjoyed this. We will get a recording and clips out and stuff. And yeah, look forward to connecting more with all of you guys as business and life goes on. So thank you again for taking the time out to share your wisdom today.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Have a good rest of your night.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
man.
Signing out.
If you found this conversation to be valuable, please take a moment to like the video and make sure you're subscribed. It helps more independent artists discover these conversations. FiXT Academy is also supported by our Patreon members. If you want deeper conversations, extended sessions, and direct access to what we're building here, you can join us there. The link is in the description.